So thank you everybody for joining us today. I see Karen Corcoran and Michelle Bressler are here. And I'm hoping a few more people might pop in for the workshop. So I will call this meeting to order at 3:33 and open forum. Does anybody have anything they want to talk about that's not on the agenda?
I just put in a ticket. What are we using now to download apps onto the iPads, Jeremy?
FileWave.
I don't think we have that on ours.
You don't. You probably don't. I don't think they ever got enrolled properly.
All right. We need to put Zoom on for when there's people out. Like right now, we have a person out who's trying to Zoom with her.
Joe. I talked to Joe right before I left, and he's aware of it. He's going to be asking in the ticket for the serial numbers, and we'll add those.
Okay.
But we don't want to go crazy and add all of them because I think we're going to replace the ones that aren't new.
Okay.
The ones that are older. So we bought a lot of new iPads, and there's actually some for Wallum. So okay. I want to distribute those soon.
All right.
So we don't want to spend a lot of effort on the old ones if you're getting new ones.
All right.
But I do want to get you so you can do what you need to do right now.
Okay, thank you. That's it from my end.
Okay. How are things over at Metcalf, Michelle?
I think everybody's trying to do the best they can with very little access to technology. It's kind of awkward, I think. You know, they're trying to get them on Seesaw, but there's a cart, but the cart has 19 computers. 2 of them don't work. So they're like hustling all day trying to get the right around and then cleaning them. So it's a juggle.
I do have good news. We did get in our Chromebooks. They are out being provisioned by the provisioning company. So I'm hoping to get those back very soon. And then we'll be delivering carts to Metcalf. So, and Wallum. So,
they'll be very happy about that.
I'm expecting it by the end of the month.
That's really good news.
Yeah.
I have to say, everybody's so flexible, and they've all been.
I know everybody's been great. You know. All right. So the point of today's meeting. Was really to look at the technology plan. I think I'm looking at the wrong agenda. Huh. That was from 2017.
Not going to help.
Not the 17th.
That is a little old.
Technology planning workshop. That's where we're at. So I don't know if you guys have seen this before, but we have a draft that we've been working on for quite some time. It's in the Technology Committee shared drive. And it's very aligned to the ISTE standards. And I don't know whether that's something we want to continue or if we want to take a look at other people's technology plans and, go from there. Like, one thing is clear is, we haven't really touched this since 2018, and we need to come up with something that we can submit to the school committee for approval, because we haven't had a technology plan approved by the school committee in a long time. So that's really my goal. I did send a link to the plan I'm talking about in the chat.
So can we have some time to look it over?
Yeah, so I think, let's take some time to look it over. Let me know if there's any questions you have, or you have any comments or anything you want to talk about as you're looking through it. I mean, I don't know if you guys have ever read this before, so.
I think I was on it when we did it.
Right, but it's been 2 years.
It's been a while, yeah. You mean I wasn't supposed to memorize it? Thank goodness.
No, I wouldn't expect anybody to memorize this.
Is 7 and 8 still sticking with iPads?
Yes. So they did, I last, well, this is the refresh year. And I had asked them, the junior high, to really take a look at Chromebooks and see if they would meet their need. And they opted to continue going with iPads. Even when I suggested that they could go one-to-one with Chromebooks and still have iPads on carts, they still wanted to stick with one-to-one iPads.
How do they do word processing?
That's a good question. I don't know that they do a lot of word processing, to be honest.
It's just a high cost item for.
I mean, I don't have a problem with the cost. They're difficult to manage is my biggest issue with them. And we're not only are they a high cost item, then we spend a bunch of money managing them. Which is and they're still not easy to manage, which is what my frustration is with them. Whereas the Chromebooks, you know, they cost what they cost, and then they're really easy to manage. We spend so much less time managing Chromebooks than we do iPads.
And the majority of the devices are Chromebooks.
Yes, but you know, I don't. If one-to-one iPads works for the junior high school, it's already in the budget. The school committee supports it. I'm okay with that. But my frustration is that I don't feel like their kids are getting ready for 9th grade using iPads. You know what I mean? Like
Yes.
They go into 9th grade and they're not familiar with the tools. But so in the junior high materials list that they send home for parents, I believe iPad keyboards were actually on the list this year.
Yeah, I mean, as a former middle school English teacher, I have no idea. I mean, that was 10 years ago I did that, and I had computers for them then. I don't know how I would
We
do
do
without
have
that.
we do have Chromebooks on carts for the junior high because we have to have them for testing anyway.
Yeah.
So basically, each English teacher has a cart in their room that they can use while they're in class. And the vast majority of kids have something available at home as well. I just,
Yeah.
you know, there are some kids who are stuck with an iPad, and I'm sure they do end up doing some typing on the iPad, which is less than optimal.
Mm.
One thing I don't think is in our plan, it has never been in our plan that I know of, is one-to-one below 6th grade. And if that's something that we're interested in pursuing, I hear it from individual teachers, but I don't hear it from a whole school demanding it. You know what I mean?
I hear it.
Yeah, no,
So if that's something that we'd like to push forward, then I think the technology plan needs to support that.
So it's not appropriate at our level, but I do think if we had more, well, right now we have no devices, obviously, except for a few iPads, but if we could have a cart that 2 classrooms share, it would be more optimal than trying to.
Let me check and see I did push more technology this year.
But we don't need one-to-one in grades K and 1.
No, but what I'm hearing is in grades 2, 3, 4, and 5, different teachers are telling me that it would be much easier if they had one-to-one and not on carts, just one-to-one where the kids have a device that's assigned to them and bring it back and forth.
Right.
Yeah,
Well,
especially 4 to 6. I think
Right.
Karen's right, like the younger kids. I haven't heard a second grade teacher say that, but
like if I shared a cart with my neighbor, like the classroom next to me, that would be more optimal than us trying to figure out where one cart is going to go amongst 6 of us.
How many first grade classes are there?
Typically, or this year. Typically, there's 6 of us.
That's what I thought.
This year, there's only 4 of us in the building, though.
Right, because there's 1.5
Distance.
virtual.
Yeah.
Plus the number of kids went down, so
Well, it's going back up
I'm sure it is.
because they're returning.
Everybody thinks that homeschooling's fun. All right, so for the first grade, I have 3 Chromebook carts.
Yep, that will work perfect.
For kindergarten, I have no Chromebook carts,
Okay,
but I have iPads.
right.
For second grade, I have 2. For third grade, I have 3. For fourth grade, I have 3. For fifth grade, I have 3. For sixth grade, I have 5. Because they are one-to-one on carts. And then in the junior high school, there's 4 carts. So, and then we're one-to-one in 9 through 12 with Chromebooks. So that's what we have for Chromebook distribution right now.
it makes sense. Especially the 3 carts between, say, a 4th grade team, the teaming teachers work that out.
Right. And I liked, Lori had asked if we could get it up to 3 carts per grade. For some reason, we decided to go with 2 for second grade. I think it's just because they don't use them as much.
Yes.
Because you could assign 1 cart to 2 teachers to share, and it makes it much easier than trying to float carts.
Right.
Of course, disinfecting carts right now will be less fun. But, I had also budgeted for Promethean boards for the second and third grade this year, but those got cut due to budget cuts.
Mm-hmm.
The one thing that the senior high, I heard coming from the senior high was that maybe they don't want Promethean boards. Maybe they'd be more interested in something like a large TV mounted on the wall, because they really wouldn't use a lot of the touch function. So that might be an option for some places, especially in the upper grades where they don't want to use that interactivity. They just want to replace a projector with a TV.
It must be a lot less money, a lot less maintenance.
I would guess it's about a third the money.
Yeah.
And the maintenance is probably about the same. You're going to get about the same number of years out of a commercial TV as you would out of a Promethean board.
And the Promethean boards, they really aren't a lot of work. Like once we get them up and running, they're pretty sufficient. You know, they're a lot better than the Eno boards we had.
Oh my goodness.
I could take this off now. She's gone. Yeah, they're just a lot better, and the kids can interact with them so much more than. But I do agree that if you're not going to use the touch functions, there's no point in having a Promethean board. You might as well have a.
Right. Why spend, $2,500 on a board when you can get away with a $700 TV?
Right. I do have to say the speaker on the Promethean board is not nearly as good as the speaker of the Eno board.
Yeah, I know.
I have to put my microphone that I bought up to it to hear it over this filter. The kids can't hear it over the filter. If
Yeah.
I'm doing like handwriting without tears or something, I have to put my microphone up to it for them to hear it. And that's when it's up to 100%.
Yeah.
But the touch features are amazing. They've been able to interact with it all year. I just wipe it down, you know?
That's awesome.
So yeah, I mean, there's some things on there that have to be updated.
And I'd like to get away from using dates. Because it makes the plan stale like immediately. Before we even finish writing it, it'll be stale.
Yeah, it's a good point.
And if we are going to put target dates, it should be in a school year rather than a part of a school year. You know, that way, if we finished it, great, and if not, we push it off to the next school year. But if we could avoid dates altogether, that would be great. I don't know how to do that, but one of the technology directors, I have a call every week with all the tech directors around the state. I invite them all, and I'd say there's a core of like 20 that show up every week. And you know, when I did bring up technology plans last week, and a couple of them said that they align them to the ISTE standards, and a couple of them said they align them to their school strategic plans, and you know, it's 6 in one, half dozen in the other. I think the standards is a much easier goal to achieve than the shifting sands of school strategic plans, but
You know, I think aligning it that way just makes it easier to see for the outsider. Like, I don't think necessarily people who aren't in education as much as we are will see the alignment when you're using other standards besides the ISTE standards. So I don't know if that makes sense, but
so you don't think we should use the ISTE standards?
no, I think we should.
Oh, okay. I don't know if the ISTE standards have been updated lately.
Somebody, did you get an answer back about the tablet yet? All right, so you want us just to brainstorm off of this document, Jeremy?
Yeah.
All right. Should we type it in a separate document or in there in a different color for you to see?
I don't know. Pick one. Art used comments back in 2018. I didn't really know how to respond to a lot of those.
I think if we used a different color in there for any edit, we can always
Why
go
don't you
back
use
to-
suggesting mode?
Okay.
And that way I can just click yes and take your advice.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. So I will also send links to a couple other decent technology plans just so you guys have access to those. And we'll just work on that.
Okay.
I don't think we need to stay on the call. I think we talked about what we want to do, and we'll just work on it in our time, and we'll talk about it again at the next technology meeting and see how far we made it.
Sounds good.
All right. Thank you
Okay.
very much. I appreciate it.
All right. Thanks. Have a good night.
You too.
Bye.